Hello, good evening from wherever you are watching me live. Good evening. My name is Shoma Odikolo. You're all welcome to our wonderful platform. You're welcome to our webinar for today. So if you are live here with us, say hello, say hi, so we'll know you're here with us. So do we have anyone in the room? Hello, yes, just say hello, say hi. So we'll know you're here with us. You're all welcome. Okay. Oh, I can see Dr. Jane. You're welcome, ma. Thank you for joining us live. Okay, do we have anyone here again with us live? Just say hello, say hi, so we'll know you're here with us. Okay. You're all welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for joining me live this evening. Good evening. Thank you for joining me live. I really do appreciate your time. I do not take your time for granted because I understand that time is life. So thank you for sparing your few minutes with me. So we have a lot of things to discuss about today. So we'll move straight into our conversation of today. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you. I appreciate your time. All right, you're all welcome. So we'll move straight to our conversation of today. Right, please let it be interactive. Let's share our comments, just say one or two things in the room so we'll interact. Yeah. So the topic for our webinar is why staying stuck is easy and growing as a parent is hard. Breaking free from patterns. That is what we're going to be discussing today. You're all welcome. For those of us that are joining us live, you're all welcome. Thank you very much. So I'm going to start with this food for thought. So we'll reflect about it in the course of our webinar. Yes. Now, the first food for thought I have for us today: what habits, thoughts, or fears are keeping you in the same place, even though you desire change? Are you comfortable in your discomfort? I'm going to take that again. Welcome to all of us that are joining us. I can see Mrs. Uma. Thank you, Ma. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you all. I appreciate your time and I do not take your time for granted. I believe we're all going to have a good time. I'm looking forward to this conversation myself because I'm also going to learn. Now, the first food for thought is what habits, thoughts, or fears are keeping you in the same place? Even though you desire change, are you comfortable in your discomfort? So we should reflect about it while we go through our session. Then the second food for thought for us is staying stuck often feels easier because it requires no risks. So staying stuck often feels easier because it requires no risks. But what if staying where you are is costing you more than stepping out of your comfort zone? I'm going to take that again. Staying stuck often feels easier for us as parents, as adults, as individuals, because it requires no risks. But what if staying where you are is costing you more than stepping out of your comfort zone? The third food for thought for us today: growth may feel hard. Growth may feel hard, but what if the cost of staying stuck is harder? So growth may feel hard to us as parents, but what if the cost of staying stuck is harder? Then breaking free from patterns. Breaking free from patterns can feel daunting, but transformation starts with awareness. So our transformation as parents starts with awareness. So we have to be aware of who we are. We have to be aware of everything happening around us first. Then growth is about becoming more. So growth is about becoming more. So are you becoming more? If you want to grow, if we want to grow, we have to become more. Now, growth is about letting go of past mistakes and focusing on the future. Growth is about we as parents as adults, as individuals, because I understand we might have some people that are not parents in this room with us today. But growth is about letting go of our past mistakes and focusing on the future. Our growth as parents impacts and affects generations to come. Our growth as parents impacts generations to come. What seeds of growth and renewal are you planting in your children? Thank you all for joining me. So what seeds of growth and renewal are you planting in your children as a parent? So as we go through this conversation of today, let's reflect on this food for thought. Now, what is the meaning of staying stuck? Okay, staying stuck refers to a state where someone, in this case, let's say where we parents, where we feel unable to move. Staying stuck is a state where we as parents feel unable to move forward. We feel unable to grow. We feel unable to change in any area of our lives. So when we are stuck as parents, we are at that point where we are unable to move, where we are unable to make changes in any area of our life. It could be in our communication. It could be in our parenting. It could be in anything. Provided we are unable to move, provided we are unable to move forward or make any change, any reasonable change, at that point, we can say we are stuck. Now, it often involves repeating the same patterns. Now, staying stuck often involves repeating the same patterns. You know, when we repeat the same patterns as parents, especially when those patterns do not favor us, or when those patterns are unhelpful to us, it means we're in that state where we are stuck as parents. Even when these patterns are not serving us as parents, but we can't move, we can't change, we can't do any other thing, at that point, we are stuck. Now, in this context of parenting, because we are talking about parenting, most of us are parents here. Now, staying stuck as a parent can mean feeling trapped in ineffective parenting style. Now, we can be stuck as parents when we are trapped in our ineffective parenting style. For example, a good number of us you hear some people say some things like, okay, this is the way my parents raised me. While my parents were raising me, my parents did not go to any school. They did not read any book. My parents did not attend any course. So why would I want to read a book to raise my children? You hear people make some comments like, okay, my parents raised me. I turned out okay. I'm doing well. I have a good job. So I know everything about parenting. Why do I need to learn? Why do I need to read a book? Or why do I need to listen to someone to raise my child? Now, when we stay stuck, you know, as a parent, when you get to that point where you're not learning, when you get to that point when you're not growing, when you get to that point when you don't see the need why you need to improve in your parenting style, at that point, you're stuck as a parent. Also, when we are unable to break free from our past experiences, especially experiences that hinder us as parents, at that point, we are stuck. For example, a good number of us has had some bad experiences growing up. Some of us experience different strong emotions that still haunt us till today. For example, some of us experience serious fear that still haunts us today. That is why you find that most of us were scared of starting. Most of us are afraid to do something. You want to do something as a parent, you're scared. The voice you hear in your head is, you can't do it, you can't do it. We are stuck. We need to sit down as parents. We need to come to that point of realization that we need to move forward. I'll give you a typical example about myself. I grew up very fearful. Very, very fearful. I did not know why I was scared, but I just know that I grew up being fearful. Even as an adult, I can see the effect of fear, what fear has done to me. So a good number of us, we need to do away with some of our past experiences. We need to do away with some of the things we grew up with that is not serving us. So we're at that point where we need to say, okay, what can I do better? So as a parent, we should not remain in that point of being stuck. We should not remain in that point of, okay, I cannot move forward. We have to come to this point of realization that we need to do something better. I need to change. I need to move forward. I need to do something better to improve myself. Now, what are the examples of staying stuck? So examples of parents that stay stuck. Number one, as a parent, when you react instead of respond. So when you react to issues as a parent instead of responding, when you react to things around you instead of responding, when you just act out without trying to think on how best can I solve this issue. For example, as a parent, when you yell often to your child, for example, your child has spilled water on the floor, and you just start to yell at this child. You just start to shout at this child without sitting down to find out, why did this child spill this water? You're responding at that. You're reacting at what your child is doing at that point. You're not responding. Another example, you're preparing your child for school and your child is just being slow. You know, most of us as parents, we naturally lash out. You shout at the child, hurry up and prepare for school. At that point, if you're not in charge of your emotions, if you don't control your emotions at that point, you're actually reacting to that situation and not responding. So as a parent, if you are reacting to a situation and not responding, that shows that at that point, you are stuck. And sometimes we react this way as parents because we feel overwhelmed. Sometimes because we don't have the right tools to help us manage our emotions. A good number of us as parents were struggling to manage our emotions. A good number of us parents were at that point of we throw adult tantrum. Let me put it that way. We throw our own adult tantrum. But we need to get to this point of realization that as a parent, I need to respond to issues. When things happen around me, when my child has done something that is offensive or that is not right, can I sit down and think, why has my child done this thing? How can I help this child so that this child does not repeat the same mistake? We have to respond to issues and not react, because when we respond to issues, most times it makes our children confused and our children do not pick up any lessons from our action. Another example of a parent that is stuck is when you hold on to old parenting beliefs. So as a parent, when you hold on to old parenting beliefs, when you use outdated parenting strategies. For example, as a parent, when you beat your child, a good number of us, we say discipline. We say, oh, I'm a disciplined parent. I beat my child. That shows I'm a disciplined parent. But is that actually the meaning of discipline? The meaning of discipline is to teach. I think discipline is from a Latin word, disciplina, something like that. But discipline means teaching. Discipline means guiding. Discipline means directing. But if you're in that position where you just believe the old parenting style without thinking or coming to this point of, okay, what can I do better? The things I saw growing up or the things I saw my parents do or what my parents did, can I improve on it? Can I be better? So when we are at that point of being stuck to our old parenting beliefs, the belief that says, I must flog you, it is my way or the highway. As a parent, you either do what I tell you because I am a parent. When you are at that point, when you don't consider the needs of your child, when you don't want to have a conversation with your child, you're just at that point of, okay, it is my way, that means you are stuck as a parent. And when you do that, it will result to disconnection between you and your child. Another example of a parent that is stuck is when you avoid tough conversations as a parent. Obviously, I'm also talking to myself in this conversation because all of us are on this journey together. I'm also learning. But when you avoid tough conversations, for example, you avoid conversations that has to do with you managing your emotions the right way. Maybe as a parent, as a father or a mother, someone is trying to tell you, oh, you're raising your voice too high. You're shouting. Can you please bring it low? Someone is trying to tell you, I think you're reacting in a way you're not supposed to react. Most times, we don't want to have these conversations. Most times, we shy away from these tough conversations because we see that we find that we might just feel, okay, these conversations are challenging. I don't want to talk about my emotions. I'm okay. Some of us even say that is the way I am. You know, I'm a harsh person. I grew up, my voice is loud and all that. When you get to that point of avoiding conversations, tough conversations, that will help you to grow or that will help us to be better, when you get to that point of not wanting to go forward or doing something better, that means you are stuck. Another example of someone or a parent that is stuck is when you prioritize perfection over process. Most of us as parents, we are focused on perfection. We want everything to be perfect. We want everything to be prim and proper. You want your child to dress her bed or his bed, and you want it to be proper the way you will dress it. We forget that the most important thing is not the perfection. The most important thing is the process. The most important thing is the process that leads my child or that leads me as a parent to the destination where I am going to. That is why most of us get uncomfortable with failure. Most of us get uncomfortable with making mistakes. When we as parents make mistakes, sometimes we feel so bad. We're like, oh my God, how come? How did I make this mistake? Because we are always focused on being perfect. We focus so much on being perfect that we forget that we are humans. We need to extend grace to ourselves. So when you focus on perfection, irrespective of the process, then you are stuck as a parent. Another example of a parent that is stuck is a parent that is overprotective of their child. So when you are overprotective of your child, you constantly shield your child from responsibilities that is age appropriate. You do everything for your child. Your child is old enough to wash their dishes, to clear their table, you do it for your child. Your child is old enough to put on his or her shoe. Your child is telling you, mommy, I can wear my shoe, I can do this myself, but you do it for your child. You overprotect your child. You make your child, you don't give your child age appropriate chores or age appropriate responsibility. Sometimes we are scared. Oh, I don't want my child to hurt him or herself. Oh, this child cannot do it. Let me do it for my child. When you do that as a parent, you are stuck. Another example of a parent that is stuck is when you neglect your own growth as a parent. So do you neglect your growth? Do I neglect my growth? When we make comments like, oh, I don't have time to journal. I don't have time to self-reflect. Oh my God, parenting is very hard. Parenting is challenging. These children, they will not allow me to sit down and just reflect about my life. When you get to that point of neglecting your own growth, you're being stuck. Because our number one role as parents is not to parent. Your number one job as a parent is to grow. Your number one role as a parent is to recreate yourself. Your number one job as a parent is to learn, to unlearn and relearn. So when you get to that point of neglecting your growth, when you get to that point of not growing, when you get to that point of not renewing yourself on a daily basis, when you get to that point of not transforming yourself as a parent to the person God has made us to be, at that point we can say we are stuck. Then another example of a parent that is stuck is when we as parents, when we get scared of change. Most of us are scared of change. Please ask me. I am so scared of change. In fact, I'm just learning because all of us are on this journey. When you're scared of change, for example, you're so used to your routine, you're used to everything you're doing, you don't even consider better ways of doing something. At that point, you can say you are stuck as a parent. And some of the signs of being stuck. So how would you know you're stuck? What are the things you're going to see around you now that you can say, okay, I am stuck? Number one, as I said, when we avoid change. When we resist new approaches or ideas because we feel that it's too difficult, when we don't want to stretch ourselves as parents, when we don't want to do something better, when we don't want to go the extra mile as parents, we are being stuck. Another example of a sign that we are stuck is when we talk to ourselves in a negative way. So what kind of conversations do we have with ourselves? What are the conversations going through our minds? What are the conversations going through our heads? Do we say positive things to ourselves? Do we affirm ourselves as parents? Are we our first cheerleaders? Or are you the type of parent that affirms your child but you don't affirm yourself? So when you negatively talk to yourself, oh my God, I've heard parents say some kind of negative things about themselves, and I'm like, I just cringe. Some people use negative comments on themselves. You know, what kind of voices, what conversations are you having with yourself? If you're having negative conversations with yourself, when you're not seeing the positive light, that means it's a sign that you're stuck and you need to do something about it. Also, when you feel overwhelmed as a parent, when you're overwhelmed, for example, a good number of us are overwhelmed. You know, when we give birth to our children, most of us will say, oh my God, I cannot do anything. Parenting is difficult. Parenting is hard. Parenting is challenging. Some of us even get to the point of blaming our children. Some of us even get to the point of, oh my God, I cannot read. I cannot further my studies because of this child. I'm going to give us a typical example. You know, at some point when I started giving birth, I got to that point of like, oh my God, you want to read a book and you need to hold your child, you need to carry your child, maybe the child is crying, you want to listen to a webinar, or you just want to listen to something and you just find that you need to attend to your child. You know, at some point inside of me, I started thinking, okay, it's because of my child. My child is making me not to read. But recently, I just got to find out that I was actually blaming the children. It's not their fault. It's my responsibility. My growth is my responsibility. We decided to have children. So it's not the fault of our children that, okay, you're not progressing in your career. No, it's our responsibility and we need to deal with it. Another sign that you are stuck as a parent, it's when you blame. You blame everyone around you. You don't take responsibility for your actions. You don't take responsibility for your emotions. That is a sign you're being stuck. For example, as a parent, your child has done something wrong. Maybe your child just came back from school, you know, and your child is cranky. Your child is crying, and you just came back from work. Now, instead of you coming down to ask your child, what's the problem? How can I help you? What happened in school? And you lash out as a parent. And when you finish lashing out, you now say, you made me to shout at you. This child, you're the one making me to shout. You're the one making me to yell. When you blame your child for your actions, when you blame your child for not being able to manage your emotions, you're being irresponsible with your emotions, and you're at that point of being stuck. So are you the type of parent that constantly blame everyone around you? You blame everyone around you, but you forget to put the searchlight back to yourself. You blame everyone around you for everything. Everything around you is this person's fault, is my child's fault, is this other person's fault. So when you get to that point of blaming everyone for everything, as a parent, you're stuck and you need to work on it. Then, what are some of the reasons why do we stay stuck? Why do parents stay stuck? Why do we get to this point of, oh my God, I just want to be here? Number one, staying stuck, you're just in your comfort zone, because when you're stuck, like, it's just comfortable. You're used to it. It's your routine. You're just used to you're doing the things you're familiar with. So staying stuck is easy. So almost everybody, or it's very easy to stay stuck. Now, another reason why we stay stuck is fear of failure. You know, most of us are scared of failing. Most of us are worried. For example, as a parent, you might be stuck. Maybe you don't want to read. You don't want to learn about parenting because you're worried. Oh, I don't know if this parenting style will work. I don't know if I switch to this style I'm not familiar with will work. So most of us are stuck because of fear. Most of us are stuck because of fear of judgment. We are scared. What will the other person say? I am worried. What will this other person say? How will this other person, how will this other person view me? Most of us are constantly thinking of what the other person will say about us, because it's very easy to get to that point. Another reason why we as parents stay stuck is because we are unaware. Most of us parents are unaware. We are unaware of so many things. A good number of us are unaware of our strengths. We are unaware of our weaknesses. We are unaware of a lot of things. We are even unaware that we need to improve. We are even unaware that we need to grow as a parent. So the question I have for us is, how aware are you of everything around you? How aware are you of you? How aware are you of your parenting style, what you're doing? Is it working? What you're doing, is it helping your child to be the better version of himself? Is it helping your child to achieve his or her God-ordained purpose? So there are so many reasons why parents remain stuck. Some of us are stuck because of cultural and social conditioning. We are stuck because of the perspective of our society, what the society will say. Most times people say things like, okay, I don't want to read a book because when I read a book, people will laugh at me. Sometimes when you're reading a book, people are actually like, why are you reading a book? Sometimes when you're reading a book on parenting or something, people will be like, why are you reading a book on parenting? Did your parents not parent you? So how come? Why are you reading? You know everything. So social conditioning, most of us are stuck because of the society. Most of us are stuck because we don't want the society to view us in a different light. Another reason why most of us are stuck is emotional baggage. A lot of us, our past experiences, the issues we are yet to resolve within ourselves, our traumas is holding us back. Most of us as parents are traumatized. A good number of us will say, oh, I grew up well, I have a good job, everything is perfect, everything is okay. But deep down within us, we have things we are dealing with. Deep down within us, we have conversations we've not had with ourselves. So these are some of the reasons why people remain stuck. These are some of the reasons why we as parents remain stuck. So we need to sit down and have a conversation with ourselves and ask ourselves the question, am I really stuck? At this point in my life as a parent, am I stuck? What am I doing? Am I improving on a daily basis? Am I getting better? Check, just put a searchlight in every area of your life, in your parenting, in everything around you. Put that searchlight and ask yourself, are you really growing? Are you stuck? Are you doing something better? Now, what is growth? We're going to move over to growth. We've talked about being stuck. We're going to move over to growth. So what is growth? For us as parents, growth often requires letting go of old habits. So growth has to do with when we as parents, we let go of our old habits, when we let go of our old beliefs, when we let go of our, the things that we believe that do not serve us. Or when we embrace new opportunities and do away with failure. When we embrace new opportunities for growth, when we embrace new opportunities for our renewal, when we embrace new opportunities for change, that is what growth is to us as parents. So as a parent, what are the old habits you need to let go of? What are those habits that are not serving you? What are those things you are doing that are not serving you? What are those things you are doing that is not serving your child? What are those things you need to let go of? Now, growth also involves we evolving as parents. We evolve. And what does it even mean for us to be evolved as parents? Number one, when we evolve as parents, we become more self-aware. And what does it even mean to be self-aware? Being self-aware is being aware of our triggers, being aware of our strengths, and being aware of our areas of improvement. That is what growth is about. When we evolve, when we get to that point of understanding, these are my weaknesses, these are my triggers. Most of us don't know our trigger. Previously, like personally, I did not know my trigger, but I just got to find out that one of my triggers is when I'm late. When I'm late for any event, maybe going to the church or attending something, I just find out that I'm usually tensed. I just find out that this is a point of trigger for me. So I've gotten to that point to understand that, okay, this is a trigger for me. So when I want to react, when I want to react to that trigger, I quickly just calm myself down and say, okay, it is fine. It is okay. Because I've gotten to this point of understanding that going late for events is a trigger for me. Most of us have different triggers. Some of us, our trigger could be an environment that is dirty. Some of us, our triggers could be anything. So have you gotten to the point of being aware of your triggers? Are you aware of your strength as a parent? Most of us have wonderful strength we are not using. Some of us are not even aware. A good number of us are very good speakers. A good number of us are very good writers. We are so good in our different areas, but do we know? Are we even aware of our strengths? That is what growth is about. Growth has to do with this point of understanding your trigger. What is that thing that triggers you as a parent? What is that thing that makes you uncomfortable? What is that thing that makes you sad? What is that thing that when it happens, or who is that person that when you see, or what is that event that when it happens, your countenance change? So we need to understand ourselves. We need to be aware of our weaknesses. We need to be aware of our strengths. We need to be aware of the areas we need to improve. That is called being consciously aware of the areas we need to improve. So what are those areas you need to improve as a parent? So just put the searchlight on you. Sit down and have a conversation with yourself. What are the areas I need to improve? Because when you know the areas you need to improve, you start to work on it. Now, growth also means letting go of our limiting beliefs. Most of us limit ourselves in so many ways. I used to limit myself very well. In fact, I used to tell myself so many things. Oh, you cannot do this. You cannot do this. Oh, what will this person say? This person will laugh at me. No. But I got to understand that I was limiting myself. I got to understand that I was doing a disservice to myself. I got to understand that, I'm not living my God-ordained purpose. So we need to let go of our limiting beliefs. Replace words like I cannot with I am learning or I am trying. When you encounter a situation and you want to tell yourself, or the voice in your head want to say, I cannot do this, I cannot do that, replace it and say, I am learning. I gave this example last week. Personally, I used to be very scared of driving, and I used to be scared of the water. Previously I used to limit myself. Oh my God, I'm scared of driving. No, I cannot drive. But I just got to find out that I was just doing myself a disservice. I rather switched it and said, I can learn how to drive. I can learn how to swim. Provided I meet the right people to teach me, I can learn this thing. So the whole idea is for us to have a growth mindset, not a limited mindset. So how long have you been limiting yourself as a parent? I have limited myself for so long. But I've gotten to this point of realization that I need to step up. How far have we been limiting ourselves as parents? What are those voices that have been holding us back? What are those voices that have been keeping us down? You want to do something and that voice comes and you're just relaxed. You're scared. You're conscious. You're checking. Oh, is everything okay? Is my hair okay? Will people not laugh at me? Oh, how will I do this webinar? Oh, what will people say? What are those voices? How are you limiting yourself? You need to let go of these limiting beliefs. Now, we need to build emotional resilience. Growing has to do with the way we build our emotional resilience. So how emotionally regulated are you as a parent? Do you even understand the different emotions per time? Before now, personally, me, I did not even understand different emotions. Sometimes I just understand that, okay, maybe I'm sad, maybe I'm happy. But I understand that there are different emotions. Do you know, when you understand the emotion you feel per time as a parent, you'll be able to handle that emotion. I just found out recently that sometimes you might be tired as a parent, but you will think you're hungry and you want to eat. but you're not actually hungry, you're actually tired. What you need to do is to rest. But if as a parent, you've not gotten to this point of being aware of this emotion you're feeling, you will not be able to deal with it. So when you are angry, you know that, okay, I am angry. When you are scared, most of us are scared. I used to be scared of a lot of things, but I was not able to name this emotion. I was not able to say I am scared. I just knew that something, maybe at this point I'm not feeling okay, but I couldn't name it. But imagine if I knew the names of my emotions. If I can name this emotion and say, oh, at this point in time, I feel scared. When you feel scared, you now know what is making you scared. How can I help myself? Sometimes when you feel angry, you now understand that this is what is making me angry. When you feel sad, this is what is making me feel sad. When you feel overwhelmed, why am I overwhelmed? So the first thing we need to do as parents is to name our emotions. Be able to put a name on the emotion you feel per time, because that is one aspect of growing. Being emotionally resilient, being able to regulate our emotions such that we don't throw adult tantrum. We are not all over the place. So that we are in charge of our emotions. We choose to be angry. So when your child has spilled water on the floor and you lash out your child, you yell or you shout at your child, it's not because your child has spilled that water. You're shouting at your child because you choose to shout at that child. You're shouting at your child, you are reacting to your husband or your wife in a certain way because you choose to react in that way. So we have to get to that point of being responsible with our emotions. You don't blame Mr. B for making you angry, no? You don't blame Mr. C for being moody. You take full control of your emotion. And when you take full control of your emotion, you'll be able to regulate it. So as parents, we need to develop patience. We need to develop empathy. Empathy is something that is lacking in our world. In fact, I think empathy is very important. We teach our children empathy. Most of us we're not empathetic. So we need to develop empathy. We need to develop the muscle to handle challenges calmly. Most of us, including myself talking, we can't handle challenges calmly. You're rushing to go to work, you're late and you're agitated. You are shouting at everybody, screaming at everybody, or probably you're looking for something. You're looking for something in the house. Like, let me say you're looking for your car key. You're shouting at everybody. The environment is tense because we are not able to calmly handle challenges. So if we must grow, if we must come out of that point of being stuck as parents, we have to come to this point of realization that we need to handle our emotions. We are responsible for our emotions. Another thing about growth is by creating a vision. So what vision do you have for yourself as a parent? What vision do you have for your family? What vision do you have for your children? Or are we just living life anywhere belle face? Okay, let me be doing my thing. No! If we must go, we must have vision. If we must go, we must have a goal, a target. So what is your plan? What are you looking up to as a parent? Now, why is growth hard for most of us as parents? Some of the reasons why growth is hard is, number one, growth requires vulnerability. Most of us don't want to be vulnerable as parents. Most of us want to show this, oh, I know everything. Oh my God, I cannot be vulnerable to my child. I am perfect. I am this. No, nobody is perfect. Even we as parents, we make mistakes. So growth requires vulnerability. Growth demands being honest about areas of our struggle. So when you are growing as a parent, you need to be honest about the areas of your struggle. You need to be honest about the areas you need to work on yourself. But because most of us, we don't want to be open, we don't want people to see that, okay, you don't know this thing. Most of us just sit back in our shell and say, okay, I am comfortable with what I am doing. I don't want to grow. So most of us are scared because we don't want to appear vulnerable. Another reason why growth is hard for most of us is because growth takes effort and time. When you want to grow as a parent, it requires your time. Do you know when you want to improve your parenting, when you want to improve yourself, it requires time because you need to read books, you need to attend courses, you need to listen to mentors, you need to listen to coaches, you need to listen to people that are already achieving great things in that area you want to go into. So it requires your time, it requires your effort. But most of us, we want to just relax. We don't want to put in the time. Now, unlike staying stuck, growth involves consistent effort. So if we must grow as parents, it's something we have to do on a daily basis. We have to be consistent. It involves consistent effort. It involves consistent reflection, reflecting on yourself. Before you go to bed, you ask yourself, how did I grow today? How did I react today? What are the things I need to improve on tomorrow? My reaction, was it the best? Did I give him my best today? Can I be better tomorrow? That is what growth requires. Now, most of us parents, we feel we don't have enough time. Most of us say we don't have enough time to focus on our self-improvement. Most of us will say, oh my God, I have 2 children. I have 3 children. When will I take care of these children? And come and read and come and listen to parenting talk, parenting education. We get to that point of not having enough time, but we have to create time. How do you create time as a parent? You have to understand what is essential to you per time. So at this stage of your life as a parent, what is essential to you? You are a parent of a toddler. What is essential to you? Do you know as a parent, what is essential to a toddler parent, that's a parent that has toddler, is not the same thing with what is essential to a parent that have teenagers. So what is essential to you per time? What is essential to you in this season of your life? When you understand what is essential to you, it creates time for your growth. Now, another thing why growth is hard for most of us is because we don't want to face our emotional challenges. Most of us are guilty. We don't want to face ourselves. We don't want the world to say, oh, you are an angry person. You need to work on yourself. That is why most of us are just stuck. Another reason why growth is hard for us, it is difficult for most of us to break off old habits. What are these old habits? What are those old habits you're holding on to as a parent? What are those old beliefs that is not serving you? You're holding on as a parent. You need to let go of it. Could it be the beliefs of you cannot do it? Could it be the beliefs of you're scared? Could it be the beliefs of fear? What are those beliefs we are holding on to? We need to break off of those beliefs for us to grow. Another reason why growth is hard, because growth is not about instant results. Growth is about the process. Growth is not like you get everything now. It's not like everything 100% is sharp. No, growth involves the process. So most of us, we don't want to put in the work. Most of us don't want the process. What we want is 100%. That is why most of us as parents, your child has come to school, come back home with their result. You're not looking at the process. You're not looking at this child has improved from last term to this term. What we are looking at, did you come first? Did you come second? Is it 100% or 99%? Because we've missed the part of process. Process is very important. Process is what will make us as parents. So we must grow. If we must grow, we have to get to that point of realization that growth is not about perfection. Growth is about the process. Am I better than I was yesterday? Am I better this minute than I was last 2 minutes? Am I better this year than I was last year? It's not about the whole. It's about the process. Another reason why growth is hard for most of us is external pressure. Most of us are scared, fear of judgment from family. You're scared that, I don't know what my parents will say. My brothers and sisters, they will say, is your own not too much? You're reading parenting book, you're attending courses. Rest now, rest. Most of us, because of external external pressure, pressure from friends, pressure from the society, most of us are discouraged to grow. Let me give us an example. You know, there was a day I was reading a book and someone was looking at me like I was doing something strange. At the point, I had to check, like, okay, hope everything is okay. You know, people laugh at you for doing something good. It's so unfortunate. Some people, not everyone, they laugh at you for doing something good. People laugh at you for reading a book. People tease you for reading a book. But most of us give in to those pressures. So if we must grow, we must break free from this external pressure. Pressure of our families, pressure of friends, pressure of the society. We must be focused on our growth. How can we break free from this pattern of feeling that growth is hard? Yes, growth is hard. How can I break free from feeling this way? Now, what is even the meaning of pattern? A pattern is a repeated behavior. Pattern is a repeated behavior, a repeated thought or reaction that becomes automatic over time. So your pattern is a repeated behavior, a repeated thought or reaction that becomes automatic over time. Now, your patterns in parenting, it can be helpful or unhelpful. So our patterns can be helpful to us or our patterns can be unhelpful to us. Our patterns can be unhelpful and unhealthy to us. An example of an unhealthy pattern for a parent is when you yell as a parent. When it has become a pattern for you to yell, to shout at your children, to shout at everyone and everyone you come in contact with, it's an unhealthy pattern. Healthy pattern could be pattern that has to do with empathy, active listening, you know, when you do those things that improve you. Now, how can we break free from this pattern of feeling that growth is hard? Number one, we need to shift our mindsets. So I need to shift my mindset. We need to reframe that growth is a journey. Growth is not a destination. Growth is a journey. Now, instead of seeing growth as being hard, we can begin to view growth in another light. We can begin to view growth as a path to becoming the best version of ourselves. We should begin to view growth as, okay, I want to be better. I'm not comparing myself with Mr. A. I'm not comparing myself with Mrs. B. I just want to be the better version of myself. When we start to do that, we start to shift our mindsets. And it helps us. It takes us on this journey of growth. We should replace I cannot do this with I am learning. So when we get in contact with something difficult, instead of saying I cannot do it, we should begin to say I am learning. I'm going to give us an example. Personally, to be very honest with you, my IT knowledge needs attention. Like, I am not, like, personally, I need to work on my IT everything. You know, previously I'll be like, oh, I can't do this thing. This thing is hard. But I've gotten to this point that I am not going to limit myself anymore. I can do anything I want to learn. I can learn it. I can improve any skills I want to learn. All it takes is finding the right resources, finding the right people to teach me. So what did I do? Instead of telling myself I cannot learn computer, I cannot learn Canva, I cannot learn IT tools and everything, I told myself I am learning step by step. I'm going to make baby steps to learn this thing. And that is what growth is about. Growth is about this process. Growth is about the steps. Another thing we need to do is to start small. So as a parent, focus on one area of growth at a time. Avoid overwhelming yourself. For example, if you want to work on your communication, you can say, okay, I'm going to focus on being a good listener. I'm going to listen more to my children. I'm going to listen more to my husband or my wife. I'm going to listen more to people. When you focus on this area, when you achieve this area, you can move forward to another area. Another way we can go is to acknowledge the process. Learn to celebrate your small wins. You made a little progress, a baby step, celebrate it. Be your own cheerleader. Personally, I used to wait for my husband to cheer me up. Oh, I used to wait for him to cheer me. But I've gotten to this point of realization that I have to be my own cheerleader. So as a parent, be your own cheerleader. Appreciate your baby steps. Appreciate your small wins. When you make a progress, appreciate it. Celebrate small wins, such as calm conversation with your child. You have a calm conversation with your child, celebrate it. You did not yell at your child, celebrate it. You did not shout today, celebrate it. It's a small win, celebrate it. Then reflect on how far you have come. Reflect on your journey. How far? Did I do better? Did I do better today than I did yesterday? That is what it means, acknowledging the process. Sitting down and calculating, okay, I've moved from point A to point B. I celebrate myself. I can do better tomorrow. Another thing we can do to grow is to seek support. So seek support. What areas are you struggling as a parent? You're struggling in your parenting, there is support. There is support. Join parenting communities. Look for coaches, look for mentors, look for people that have achieved what you want to achieve. Seek support. Reach out to people. Some of us have siblings, brothers and sisters that are doing well in the things we are struggling with. Why don't you reach out to those people? So we should seek support. Seek mentors. You're struggling, seek mentors in that area. I listened to my coach, and my coach said the best way to succeed in a thing is to seek for mentors or coaches or those that have achieved that thing you want to succeed in, and and learn from them. So seek support, seek mentors, read books, attend courses that align with your area of growth, attend courses that align with these goals you want to achieve. Seek support. There is help. Let's not feel helpless. There is help everywhere. Another thing we need to do as parents is we must embrace mistakes. View mistakes as opportunities to learn and grow. Most of us are uncomfortable with mistakes, especially yours truly. I used to be very uncomfortable with mistakes. Recently, like 2 days ago, I made mistake. I was like, oh my God, why did I make this mistake? I started feeling bad. I was like, God, why did I make this mistake? And I knew it was a mistake. But initially, I was not being kind to myself. But after a while, I just realized that I need to extend grace to myself. I need to be kind to myself, that I am not perfect. And I had to sit down and ask myself, why did I make this mistake? And I knew I was not supposed to make that mistake. And I found out the reason. I found out that I was not being mindful at that moment. So sometimes when you make a mistake, just be kind to yourself. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself compassion. We are not perfect as parents. Then sit down and ask yourself, why did I make this mistake? What can I learn from these mistakes? So we should view mistakes as opportunities to learn and grow. Mistake is not the end. When we make mistakes, view it as an opportunity to learn and grow. We should remind ourselves that parenting is not about being perfect. Parenting is not about being perfect. Parenting is about being present and being willing to improve. So the question is not about, are you perfect? No. The question is, are you willing to improve? Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to be a better version of yourself? Another thing we need to do as parents is to create a vision for our growth. So what is your vision for your growth? Where are you going to as a parent? What is your goal? What is your plan? Where are you headed to as a parent? Define what kind of parent you want to be. What kind of parent do you want to be? When your children grow, when they are 18 years, when they are adults, can your children look back and say, I am grateful you are my parent. If I have an opportunity to choose another parent, I'm going to choose you over and over again. So what kind of parent do you want to be? What kind of parent do I want to be? What are the steps that will now lead you to this direction? For example, do you want to be a parent that is more patient? Do you want to be that parent that is big on personal development? Do you want to be this parent that is constantly growing? You're in that position of improving yourself on a daily basis. So what are the steps that can take you there? Then the other thing is prioritize your self-care. So as a parent, we need to prioritize our self-care. We need to take care of ourselves first. We should recognize that personal growth requires energy and emotional stability, which comes from taking care of ourselves first. So how well do we take care of ourselves? Most of us don't take care of ourselves. Do you take care of yourself physically, emotionally? Do you exercise? Do you eat well? So how well do we take care of ourselves? We need to prioritize our self-care because it's part of our growth. We need to understand the benefits of growth. We should reflect on how growth positively impacts our families. How does your growth impact everyone around you? The truth is that I can see a question. Oh, this is very fast. The truth is that most times when you grow as a parent, it impacts your life and everyone around you. So what are you doing? The way you are living your life, is it impacting positively in the lives of everyone around you? Now, lastly, we must recognize that growth creates deeper connections. Growth creates healthy relationships and a happier home. So when you grow as a parent, you're creating deeper and stronger connection with yourself first, because you need to connect with yourself first, with your children, your husband, your wife, your colleagues, friends, family, and it creates a healthier, a healthier relationship, a happier home. So the benefits of growth can never be overemphasized. Now I'm going to leave us with these reflections. Number one, staying stuck is the easy wide road. Staying stuck is the easy wide road, but growth requires the courage to take the narrow road, which leads to true transformation. So when you are stuck as a parent, it's the easy road. It's easy for almost everybody to want to remain there, to want to remain in that position of not growing. But growth requires your courage to take the narrow road. And remember, the narrow road is the road that is less traveled. So growth requires your courage to take the narrow road, which leads to true transformation. So as a parent, are we taking the narrow road that will lead to our transformation? Or are we stuck in the wide road that everybody is taking? The second reflection, are you still in survival mood when you should be thriving as a parent? Are you in survival mood as a parent, or are you in thriving mood? Most of us are on survival mood, so we need to step up from survival mood and move to thriving mood. The third reflection is, what mindset shifts could help you break free from unhealthy parenting patterns? So what are those mindset shifts that can help us to break free from unhealthy parenting patterns? What are those things we need to work on? What are those things you need to work on? Do you need to work on your emotions? Do you need to work on your self-talk? Do you need to work on, what are those things? What are those areas you need to work on? You need to sit down, have a conversation with yourself, journal your thoughts, and begin to walk through your journey. Then the other reflection is, are you holding on to old ways that no longer serve your growth? What ways are you holding on to as a parent? Are you holding on to the ways that no longer serve your growth? What new things is God calling you to embrace? God is calling us on a daily basis to embrace new things. So what are you holding on to? What are you beholding? What are you beholding? Then the other reflection, growth is about letting go of past mistakes. Growth is about we letting go of past mistakes and focusing on the future. So when we grow, we let go of past mistakes and we focus on the future. So are you letting go of past mistakes and are you focusing on the future? Excuse me, please. Then the other thing is, what fears are holding you back? So what fears are holding you back? Me, I had my own fears. Plenty fears were holding me back. Plenty were holding me back. But the truth is that when you allow your fears to hold you back, you do a disservice to yourself. So what fears are holding you back? And how can you lean on God to help you move forward? We need God on this journey. We need God to walk with us. So how can you lean on God to move forward? Then the last reflection for us, the way you grow as a parent sets the foundation for your children's journey of growth. So when you grow, your children will grow. When you improve, your children will improve. When you transform, your children will transform. When you renew your mind, your children and everyone around you will definitely renew their mind. So I have a good news for all of us here today. I'm not just going to come and leave us, going like that. I have a solution. So this is my book. It is currently on pre-order. This is a sample and it's called Becoming a Renewed Parent. So everything we've talked about in this webinar, how we can come out of being stuck, how we can grow, how we can improve is in this book. There are so many things you can learn from this book, how to work on yourself as a parent, how to be on that stage or that position of constantly growing, constantly renewing yourself, constantly improving yourself. Pre-order this book, Becoming a Renewed Parent. It's a transformational book. It's a book that will change your perspective of how you see growth. It's a book that is going to change your parenting. So everything we've talked about, how you can grow, if you want to grow, pre-order this book. You're going to see so many things we did not talk about is in this book. This book is currently on pre-order. So when you pre-order, I have a special gift for you. And what is my special gift? I'm going to give anybody that pre-order a free course that will be sold. And I'm going to give a pack of renewed parenting affirmation. So it's currently on pre-order. I'm going to drop the link in the comment section for us to pre-order. Pre-order this book. It's a blessing. It's a blessing to you. You can pre-order for yourself, for your friends, for your family. Do you know it could be a Christmas gift for someone? Pre-order, gift people gifts that will help them to grow. Gift people gifts that will help them to improve and to be better versions of themselves. So do you want to grow? Do you want to improve yourself? Do you want to renew your mind? This is the book, Becoming a Renewed Parent. If you want to transform yourself, if you want to grow, if you want to renew your mind, pre-order and get a copy of this book. It's going to be on Amazon. Yes, for some of us that it depends on your location. It's going to be on Amazon. You can get a physical copy, pre-order, and you'll be blessed for reading this book. So thank you very much for listening to me. I really do appreciate your time. So put in the comment section, what did you learn? How was this session for you? Was it transformational? Did it meet your goal? Was it worth your time? Was it worth your time? What are you going to be doing differently from today as a parent? Please put it in the comment section. Let us see. Let us hear what you have to say. And please remember to subscribe to our channel, our YouTube channel, called Becoming a Renewed Parent, and we have a Facebook group. It's this live stream is actually, I think we're actually streaming on our Facebook group, Becoming a Renewed Parent. Follow us. We share videos on parenting, videos you can share with your family and friends that can help us to grow, that can help us to improve. We're all on this journey together. Let us hold our hands together and walk on this journey so that by tomorrow, when we turn and look at our children, we will see a transformed generation. A generation that will impact their world positively, a generation that will add value to their world, a generation that will be a blessing. But first of all, it starts with us. We have to grow first. We have to renew our minds first. We have to work on ourselves as parents first, because when we work on ourselves first, it is very easy for our children to work on themselves. So what would you be doing differently? What step, what action would you be doing differently to work on this your journey of growth, to work on this journey of renewal? The first thing I suggest or I recommend you do, pre-order this book, Becoming a Renewed Parent, and it's going to be a blessing to you. So thank you very much. Okay, I can see the link to pre-order is in the comment section. Please click the link, pre-order, and you are going to get a copy of this wonderful book, Becoming a Renewed Parent, and definitely you are going to be renewed. So thank you very much. Oh, I can see, thank you. I'm reading through the comments. Thank you. An educative session. Please put it in the comment section. How was this for you? Was it worth your time? Was it worth your time? If you want to learn more, if you want to hear from us more, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Becoming the Renewed Parent. You're going to see more of our videos there. Join our Facebook group. We share our videos there. We also share our affirmations daily. You know, you're going to learn from us. So please join us on this journey. Let us work together and be the change we want to see. Be the first person to change. Don't wait for your children to change. And finally, I am going to leave us with these thoughts. Your first job as a parent is not to parent your child. Did you hear me? Your first role as a parent is not to parent that child you have. Your first job as a parent is to grow. Your first job as a parent is to grow. My first job as a parent is to grow. Our first jobs as parents is to improve on ourselves. Our first jobs as parents is to unlearn, to relearn. Our first jobs as parents is to recreate ourselves. Our first job as parents is to reparent ourselves, not to parent our children. So are you growing? Are you recreating yourself? Are you reparenting yourself? Are you ensuring your children do not make the same mistakes that you've seen previously? So what would you be doing differently? Start your journey of growth. Start your journey on self-development, and you'll be very grateful you did, because the benefits of growth can never be overemphasized. So thank you very much for listening to me today. I am so grateful. I really do appreciate your time, and I do not take your time for granted. Thank you. I can see my husband, my kingmaker. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you and honor you. God bless you. I can see Dr. Jane. Thank you, ma. I saw Mr. Anthony. I saw so many people joined in live. I am so grateful. I do not take your time for granted. Thank you for spending this, your precious time with me. So okay, I can see our first job as parent is growth. Yes. Till I come your way next time, please come in, join our YouTube channel, join our Facebook group so we get to talk more. And remember to pre-order Becoming a Renewed Parent, and you'll be very grateful you did. So thank you very much. Till I come your way next time, I honor you all. I appreciate you all. I am so grateful for spending this time with me. I do not take your time for granted. Thank you all, and God bless us. Thank you, and do have a good night rest. Bye.